If you haven't sold your house yet, it may be time. If you didn't know, foreclosure volume is doubling as we speak, and you may have missed your opportunity. 2022 was an incredible time to sell in the beginning of the year over here. Not so much over here at the end of the year coming into 2023. Mid-year, where we are right now.
Whoa. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Are you kidding me with this stuff?
We're talking foreclosures.
No. None of this scare tactics. You
What?
get out of here.
No, you do this.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh, folks, I'm sorry about that. If you don't know me, I'm Jason Jarvie with Realty ONE Group here in the Phoenix metro area, more specifically up in the Surprise area. I really don't think scare tactics make a great way to sell information. What I like is the pure, hard data. Let's jump into what that data looks like. Don't listen to this guy trying to scare you. The reality is really much better. Okay, so looking at actual stats, let's look at the trustee deeds by month here in Maricopa County. And what we're looking at is we're looking at a precipitous increase in the month of May as compared to April. However, looking at that number, 36 actually sold to a third party versus 18 in April. Yep, that is a 100% increase. I get that. But 36, let's go back to, say, 2014. 213. That's a pretty big difference. When you expand out and you see the whole graph all the way back to 2014, yeah, there was a big change. And that big change was in March of 2020.
Shame on you!
With the forbearance programs. It's clear right here when that happened. We should see more coming back. And I don't say should like more people should be losing their houses to foreclosure. I just mean historically speaking, there are more houses lost to foreclosure. Life changes, things get upside down, and people get wonky. It happens. It's unfortunate. But we're not even anywhere remotely close to back to a normal trend to what we've seen even in the last 9 years. So you're going to see a lot of stories, a lot of headlines, a lot of YouTubers saying 100%, 200%, 1,000,000% increase in foreclosures.
100,000,000%.
And they're probably not going to be wrong except for like that 1,000,000%. Totally wrong there. There are going to be more. We will see more. We'll see more going back to the beneficiary or the bank or whoever is the trustee, and then more sold to third parties. But we're not going to be anywhere near normal levels unless something happens in our economy that's going to really push that. Lots of jobs getting lost. It is happening. I get that. Or some sort of anomaly, say like a virus that comes out of nowhere and causes world havoc, and there isn't a forbearance program. I don't see that happening. They'll definitely do another forbearance program with the next one. So we're going to move on from the foreclosures because I don't know that they're totally relevant. In fact, I don't think they're totally relevant at all to the tenure of our current market. You see, if you're one of my loyal 67 subscribers, you know that I really like data. And with that data, I like to look at the leading and the lagging indicators. So one of our leading indicators that we look at regularly would be new listings. How many sellers are coming to the marketplace and saying, I want in, I want to sell my house, I might want to buy a house, maybe I want to travel the world. Doesn't really matter, but they need to come to the marketplace to provide something for the buyers to purchase. So we look at new listings, and with our new listings, we're looking at what I keep saying is a 23-year low. It hasn't gotten any better. Looking at this at 39,000 listings as of 6/10 versus 6/10 in 2020 at 49,000. That's a pretty significant difference. And looking at the rest of the years here on the graph, much lower. And we're not seeing a dramatic uptick. Likewise, we're not seeing a huge downtick, but we're not seeing improvement here, which is showing up in the overall listing count for a number of different reasons. You see, we can only look at history sometimes to try to give us a glimpse of what might happen in the future. And looking at active listing count, we're looking back to 2019 here. That's the green line. You can see in 2019, we were already starting to see inventory coming down. And then we move into the brown line, 2020. It was following, still going down until the big event. And then poof, it came back up and then shot down for 2022 and 2021, or I guess I should have said 21 first, thinking in order. 21 being the blue line here, and then red 22. And you can see right about week 16 in April, that's when things really started to change. And it shot up to
the moon
until October. October is when it turned around yet again. But when we look at this year, looking at new listings, looking at active listings, we've had a bit of a problem. You see, we need somewhere in the 20 to 25,000 listings on market to satisfy what would be considered a normal demand for home purchasers here in the Phoenix metro area. However, coming out of 2022 into this year, we started at 15,563, and all the way down here on June 10th, we're sitting at 10,685. Less than half of, speculatively speaking, what we should have in the marketplace to create any sort of balance. You see, to find true balance, we have to look at two factors: the homes on the market and the homes going off of the market. Off of the market would represent our buyers' interest in the market, right? Are they coming in and swooping up those new listings, causing an imbalance in inventory and demand? And when we look back over the past couple of years, 2019 through 2022, the green line being that crazy year, right? We see that our normal balance is that during the winter months here at the end, buyers are kind of a little bit slow, at least in the market. And then into spring, all the way up into about week 8, that's usually right around when our peak demand starts to float off into late spring and early summer and then taper off. Well, 2023 is not like that. We are significantly lower on demand than we have been in previous years, but because that demand is still eating up the few homes, the lowest in 23 years, remember we talked about that, it's eating up that active inventory and causing that line to drop down. You can see that when we had, early spring, we had some decent interest rates. People were starting to come into the market. Now, mind you, this is going to show a little bit in arrears of what's happening with interest rates, because people see good interest rates, they get into the market, and then they get under contract, and then closings happen later, and then interest rates are pushing, and people decide, I'm going to start pushing out. This is when we're starting to see those 7.5% and 7% interest rates again. So we don't have the buyer demand. We don't have the seller demand or trying to sell homes. We really do have a very small market by volume in comparison to what's happened throughout the years. So focusing in on what's happening now, we can continue forward by looking at what the average sales price, above or below listing, seller concessions, and what our market speedometer is doing right this moment.
This is an emergency.
What was that? Bug flying through my office. So by now, it's clear that the market has changed, but it's unclear in what way. See, a lot of what you might see on YouTube, which is where I am right now, is really going to tell you what's happening in a negative fashion, because that draws the views. I get that. I'm really here more to help people that are actually interested in participating in reality. And the reality is our market fell off of a cliff. Yep, looking at it right here, we were way up in May of last year, and, well, you were there, right? It just dropped like a rock. However, when we expand over into reality, into our current time frame, because of that lack of new inventory, prices have been going back up. And when you look at what's happened in the past, we're sitting at about the same spot as we were at, 291, 293, so February to March of 2022, which means we weren't far from the peak. The peak was in May. We probably won't get back to that level this year, I don't think. There's not enough buyer demand to satisfy that, but I'm not going to speculate. My crystal ball is a little fuzzy right now, so I can't get a good read on that. We really just have to follow through with the rest of our information. What are sellers doing? What are buyers doing? To determine what buyers are doing, it's important to look at the psychology of what's happening. And one of the ways that we do that is we look to see how much people are willing to compete. Are they going to fight over houses? Are they going to pay more for them than they were listed for?
Shut up and take my money.
Looking at our stats as of right now, we're looking at 21% of sales happening over list price. But what's even more interesting is when you start to break that down by price range. You would think, no, it's just the upper end homes that might sell for more money. But in reality, what we're seeing here is 32% of the homes are selling over list price in the $200,000 to $250,000 range. Now, there may be a lot of investor drive in that price point that they're trying to fix these homes, but that still shows when you jump up a bracket 250 to 300, that's 27%, one more, 24%. As things get more expensive, there's less and less competition. And the amount that people are paying over list price changes as well. As you go up into the really stratospheric categories, up at over 3 million, somebody paid over $245,000 over list. Now that could have happened for all sorts of different reasons, but we'll just leave that one out for a little bit. Even down here in the, we'll call it million to 2 million range, you see $10,000, $30,000, $40,000. So the market is definitely not bad. Buyers are interested in paying more than list price. Are sellers interested in giving them concessions? Are they trying to drive that traffic? That's where we got to go next. Well, the answer is yeah, kind of. You see, we've seen a decrease in number of price changes per week all year. And that's notated here that right now we're sitting at, let's see, 1,266 price cuts. And when you look at the median price change amount, it's on average right around $10,000. And you can see price cuts per day, they're dwindling off pretty closely as well. Price increases, there are actually more of them. Now, I think those price increases are primarily attributed to new construction. New construction is in a lot of ways leading our market right now and helping to keep it afloat. See, when there's not a lot of things to buy, people have to go somewhere to find them when they want them, and new construction offers you the ability to say, well, in 6 months, 8 months, and a year when it's done, yeah, I'll buy that house. So it's keeping that momentum flowing. Kind of like when there was a shortage of cars and so many people were saying, yeah, I'll order a car I've never seen before. That's about what's happening there. See, moving forward and looking also at the number of seller paid concessions, that's coming down as well, sitting right now at 42% at an average of $8,000 in concessions compared to 43% or 46%. And you can see all the way at the peak here in January, 51% of sales with concessions at an average or a median concession of $9,700. That's not chump change. That's a pretty penny there to get added to the cost of purchasing your house, at least contributed on the seller side to helping you purchase. Okay, so where does that leave us? Does that leave us with the market's good, the market's bad, the market's going up,
The market's going down?
Well, there's a little bit of all of it. You see, our market gets broken up here into 17 major areas or 17 city areas. So one of the ways that we can look at that is we can use the Cromford Market Index in each one of those areas. Is it going up? Is it going down? How is it changing? Do we have people in a buyer's market, a balanced market, a seller's market? Where's everything at? Well, looking here, we've got our 17 cities. And you can see for the first time in 8 weeks, one of them has gone down, and that's Goodyear dropping 1%. Everywhere else, we're still seeing improvement, and this is in relation to sellers. So our prices going up, our homes being sold, because all markets are derived from the seller's input, not the buyer's, and that's what we're looking at. So you can see that Chandler is leading the charge. It is on fire right now. 294.8, 19% up from the same time last month. When we look at our total market space, we're looking at 163.2. Now what that means is we're above a balanced market in seller's market territory. However, when you look at the two graphs on either side, supply at 51% of normal and demand at 84%, it's only because those two aren't equal that we have a seller's market at all at this point. If demand were to drop off for any precipitous reason, whether it be interest rates, global catastrophe, mass layoffs, presidential elections.
This election thing is crazy, right?
I don't know how that could possibly happen. Any number of different things that might stymie demand. Our market is going to swing. But looking at the data right now, it's not doing that. We are improving. Things are going back up. There are still areas that haven't caught up with last year's demand or last year's pricing. There are areas that have gone past it. If one of these areas is of particular interest to you, and you would like to see a deep dive on what's happening in one of these 17 metros, drop a comment, shoot me a message, give me a phone call, whatever works for you. I'll do a video with a deep dive looking right in on that one. For everybody else, if there's a different subset of information that you might want to see in these update videos, let me know. I'd love to research that info, find it for you, and present it here. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.